For James, paying off debt felt like trying to empty a bathtub with a teaspoon. Every month, he sent in his payment right on time. He wasn't skipping or slacking, but the balance barely moved. After 5 years of steady payments, he still owed almost the same as when he started. It was frustrating, exhausting, and honestly, kind of defeating. His friend Linda was going through the same thing. I pay every month, she told him, but it's like I'm walking in circles. I don't get it. Neither of them realized the game was rigged from the start. You see, the system wasn't built to help people like James or Linda get out of debt quickly. It was designed to stretch it out, slowly, quietly, and over decades. Most of what they were paying wasn't even going toward the real debt. It was going to interest. And unless they knew how to change that formula, they'd continue to stay stuck no matter how hard they tried. Then they found a way. Something changed everything for them. No, it wasn't a new job, nor was it some viral side hustle. It was a simple shift in how they paid, not how much they earned. And that made all the difference. There's no trick here, just a smart, real strategy that helped James and Linda finally feel like they were getting somewhere. But before we go into how it works, it's important to understand why so many people feel stuck in the first place and why the real problem isn't the size of the loan, but the way it's set up. It's not that you borrowed too much. It's not that you're bad with money. The real trap lies in the way loans are constructed, and almost no one explains it clearly. From mortgages to student loans, the system is designed to stretch payments over decades. That might sound manageable on paper, but in reality, it costs you far more than you signed up for. Here's what happens. You make your monthly payment, maybe even on time every month, and you assume you're reducing the debt. But peek behind the curtain and you'll see that a huge chunk of that money goes straight to interest, especially in the early years. In fact, for the first few years of a 30-year mortgage, almost none of your payment reduces the principal. It feels like progress, but it's not. And it's not just mortgages. Car loans, personal loans, credit cards, most of them make you pay the interest first before touching the actual debt. The lender gets paid first, every time. The longer the loan term, the more interest you pay. That's why some people end up paying 2 or even 3 times the original amount they borrowed, just for the privilege of spreading it out over time. You know what's even worse? You're not told any of this up front. You're just expected to follow the schedule, stay in line, and be grateful it's affordable. But here's the good news. There's a way out. And once you understand how this system works, you can flip it on its head and start making it work for you. So, exactly how do you beat a system designed to slow you down? You do it by changing one small thing: how your payments are constructed. That's where accelerated amortization comes in. Accelerated amortization is simply the idea of paying a little more towards your loan than what the lender asks for. Not randomly, not occasionally, but in a steady, focused way that attacks the actual debt, not just the interest. That's it. But don't let its simplicity fool you. This small shift can change everything. Think about it like this. Every loan comes with a schedule, a timeline you're expected to follow. You agree to pay a fixed amount for 15, 20, or even 30 years. What they don't emphasize is that in those first several years, you'll almost not be able to touch the actual amount you borrowed. Most of your money is just padding the lender's profits. It's like renting your own debt. Now imagine adding just a little extra money, a small intentional push towards your principal every month. Not enough to feel like a burden, but enough to reduce what you actually owe. Each time you do that, you lower the amount of interest you'll be charged going forward. That's the beauty of it. At first, the progress feels slow, but then it starts to pick up and things move faster. And before you know it, you're not just paying off your loan, you're escaping the timeline altogether. Meanwhile, it's not about doubling your payments or living on rice and beans. It's about being smart and strategic with what you already have. If you've ever felt like you're stuck in an endless loop of payments, this concept offers something powerful, a way to break the loop without breaking your life. But understanding the idea is one thing. Seeing how it actually plays out, how those extra payments shift the balance and cut years off your loan, is where the real clarity begins. Let's break that down next. Let's say you have a loan. Maybe it's your mortgage, a car loan, or a student loan. Every month you make your payment, and it feels like you're doing the right thing. But month after month, your balance barely moves. That's not just your imagination, it's how loans are structured. In the early years, the bulk of what you're paying goes toward interest, not the actual loan itself. So while it feels like you're making progress, you're often just keeping the debt alive. But accelerated amortization can change that story completely. How's that? Instead of sticking to the bare minimum payment the lender asks for, you decide to add a little more specifically towards your principal. That part matters because the less principal you owe, the less interest you'll be charged over time. It's like cutting off the part of your payment that makes the lender rich. What most people don't realize is how powerful small amounts can be. Even just $50 extra each month, if done consistently, can cut down the time you stay in debt. Why is that? Because every extra dollar reduces the balance that future interest is based on. And when that happens month after month, it builds on itself. It's quiet at first, like turning a huge ship. But over time, the shift becomes obvious. Your balance drops faster, your end date moves closer, and your freedom feels within reach. And here's the best part. You're not doing anything risky or complicated. You're just choosing to be intentional, not letting the lender decide how long you'll stay in debt. It puts the power back in your hands. So now that you understand how this strategy actually gradually reduces your debt, how do you put that into action? That's exactly what we'll look at next. You don't need a financial degree or a second job to start speeding up your loan payoff. Some of the most effective strategies are simple things you can start doing right away. You don't even need any fancy apps or complicated tools. And the first one is probably the easiest. Just round up your payment. If your loan payment is $742, make it $800. That extra bit goes straight towards your loan's principal. It might not seem like much at first, but over time it shortens your payoff time without you even noticing. Another way is to make an extra payment once a year. Let's say you get a bonus, a tax refund, or even just save up a little extra over time. Sending one full extra payment per year doesn't feel too hard, but it can make a massive difference. And here's the good part. You don't have to change your lifestyle. You just need to plan that one extra push and commit to it each year. The third method is splitting your monthly payment in half and paying that half every 2 weeks instead of once a month. This works because over the year, you end up making 13 full payments instead of 12. It's a small adjustment that your budget likely won't feel, but your loan definitely will. These aren't flashy tricks. They're just steady, reliable steps that work when you stick to them. And you don't need to do all three. Even one can begin to change things for the better. But before you jump in, there are a few things you need to keep an eye on. Small details that can either help or hurt your progress if you're not careful. Let's go over those next. Now, as powerful as accelerated amortization is, there are still a few things you'll want to be careful about, because even something smart can backfire if you're not paying attention. For starters, not all loans welcome extra payments with open arms. Some lenders have what's called a prepayment penalty. It's a fee they charge if you try to pay off your loan too early. Ironic, right? So before you make any extra payments, always check your loan terms or give your lender a quick call. You need to be sure those extra dollars are going directly towards your principal and not just sitting somewhere in limbo or being applied toward future interest. Also, it's easy to get excited and throw in every extra cent you have, especially when you start seeing progress. But don't forget about your overall financial health. If you're paying down debt aggressively, believing yourself with no emergency cushion, you could end up back in a worse situation if something unexpected pops up. Accelerating your loan payment should feel empowering, not stressful. It works best when it fits into your life without draining it. And finally, don't lose sight of your why. The goal isn't just to pay off a number, it's to buy back your freedom, your choices, your time, your peace of mind. So don't let perfectionism creep in or feel like you're failing if you miss an extra payment now and then. This is about consistency, not pressure. So this is your moment. You've seen how the game is played, and now you've got the edge to play it differently. Accelerated amortization isn't some trick. It's your quiet rebellion against years of interest and waiting. You don't need to be rich to do this. Being intentional is just enough. Even a small change today can shift the entire course of your financial story. So take the first step. Choose to be free faster, not someday, but sooner than you ever thought. If you're ready to take control and see real progress, hit the subscription box so that you'll keep getting more real financial tips that actually help. Remember, your debt-free future starts with what you do next. See you in the next video.